proposal, and then
we'll take a temperature check
to see how this assembly feels.
So see how this assembly feels
about proceeding.
So the following proposal
got a massive amount of feedback,
and unfortunately,
seems my fate,
because this is totally dead,
that I will have to post it online. I would like to share
my experience
with this rather contentious,
impressive proposal that was originally
If any of you would like to hear that.
If any of you would like to hear that.
I can save it for announcements.
Let's take a temperature check.
If you're not running the GA, don't run the GA.
All of us run the GA.
No.
Twinkle up.
You know, listen, Headlamp Man, it's surprising how we twist rules when it's somebody that, you know, is not too confrontational.
This is not the rules.
Let's all stay
We're not
calm.
following
Just
the
let you
rules.
know.
I didn't, yeah, process is to help us, not to bind us.
So put it
No, I don't think it's okay. I don't think that you really.
We are following process.
No, facilitation is punting.
With all due respect,
We got this.
we're going to continue on.
We took a temperature check.
And although not everybody participated,
all of what I saw,
or the vast majority,
was positive.
the proposer is going to give a brief statement and not put forward a proposal at this time.
I'm gonna have Ted Hall do my proposals too. That way you all.
Not my time wasted. What do you think about that?
So mic check.
Mic check!
Just to get this through.
Just to get this through.
And I appreciate you taking the time.
And I appreciate you taking the time
That
that I see
and felt
a
a very dangerous reaction within our community.
very dangerous reaction in our community
To try to adopt an exclusionary process.
to try to adopt an exclusionary process.
I feel
I
and
understand
from speaking to people at other assemblies,
from people at other assemblies
we are at a very slippery slope.
that we are at a very slippery slope.
It was very hard to sleep at night,
It's very hard to sleep at night
trying to account for all the perspectives that were being thrown at me.
to try and account for all the perspectives that were thrown at me
Because we had sort of a freak accident last week.
because we had a freak accident last week
That really highlighted
fundamental problems
that challenge
that challenge
the way our movement operates.
the way our movement operates.
What specific insight? What are you talking about? What's the freak action? Mic check. I don't feel comfortable. Functioning with like inside information or double speak. I know it helps a lot of people. Socialize in a non-confrontational way. But I would like to know what the shock you're talking about.
Okay. Essentially
Last week,
some individuals from another occupation
some individuals from another occupation
came into the assembly and nearly successfully stopped the assembly. Many of them were drunk. Several people were punched in the face. And I saw that there was a lot of issues around that.
And I saw that there were a lot of issues around that
Tried to address it at that time.
and tried to address it at that time.
I now see
That
many of us focused on NAND.
when actually
NAND
Nan did not
punch anybody
that day.
And we do have issues.
And we do have issues
as a community,
I think,
with how Nan operates with us at times.
with how Nan operates with us at times.
But through writing this proposal, in this reaction that many people are holding, I see that we're on a slippery slope. To becoming an exclusionary body that actually is ill-equipped to deal with these community issues. So this proposal that I have written, with feedback from everybody else, will be shared online for later time. So thank you for your time.
Thank you for your time. Thank you.
We're not going to open stack on this.
We're not going to open stack on this.
No.
I'm sorry, Ashley. I didn't listen. Okay.
I know a lot of people
So I know a lot of people feel very strongly about this issue.
So I encourage you
to
talk about it with each other. And try to reach mutual understanding.
Bananarama! Let's move it along.
Told you not to do this, and you did it.
Opening a can of worms.
Brilliant. Way to go, facilitation.
Wow. Somebody has a bug.
Everybody.
Chill out!
Yeah.
Woo! We're on this together. Let's not fight.
We are not opening stack.
We are not opening stack.
And that is final.
We
are going to move on.
We're going to move on to the next agenda item.
I'm sorry for those of you
I'm sorry that those of you
who don't agree with this.
who don't agree with this.
But we're going to move on.
Doing a great job.
So next on the agenda.
So next on the agenda,
Point of information.
Point of information. Point of information.
All right. Whoa.
mic check!
Yo, nipple guy, please just don't. Please, do something else. There's a bookstore somewhere.
Point of information.
Even
If
we're not deciding
on anything
General Assembly
at a General Assembly
goes to a place
for discussion.
Since this item
Was brought up
at General Assembly
at General Assembly
the power
with the power
to discuss it
to discuss it
with all its members.
with all its members.
Know your process.
Process.
That looks pretty good.
That looks pretty good.
Mic check!
No.
The person who just spoke doesn't believe
No.
his own opinion.
That's his opinion.
Pull it down. Let's keep it going right. Pull it down.
From my perspective up here,
From my perspective up here,
I saw a lot of uptwinkles
I saw a lot of uptwinkles
on that discussion section.
on that discussion section.
Let's have a real temp check.
So I'm going to ask
For a temperature check.
for a temperature check
We're going to a discussion
for going to a discussion
about what just happened.
about what just happened.
I'm seeing lots of uptwinkles.
I'm seeing lots of uptwinkles.
Good.
I don't see them. What are we taking?
What's next on the agenda? What are we sacrificing?
I don't see much. Count them. Please count them.
It's not about counting. It's about
It's not about anything except what you say, right?
Twinkles. He sees
It's whatever you say it is.
Look how high he is.
Respect the facilitation.
Thank
Back
you.
the house. Like check. Chill out.
A lot of us did their job.
Breakout group.
So my sense is
is
that we could use a little discussion on this.
that we can use a little discussion on this.
So let's break out into 5-person breakout groups.
So let's break out into 5-person breakout groups.
Talk about something other than Let's talk more about anarchy.
So break out into 5 people groups.
So break out into 5 people groups.
We'll let you discuss for say 10 minutes.
We'll let you discuss for say 10 minutes.
And then a member from the group.
And then a member from the group
We'll present to the rest of the group.
will present to the rest of the group.
We gotta put up information.
General Assembly on the 24th, I was the one that Billionaire Ted is talking about. I was the one that started the aggravation because I felt like I was left out from the General Assembly. I felt like I was left out. I felt like they closed the stack too prematurely. And I felt like I wanted to get my voice heard. I am the General Assembly as much as you are. And I did come out of process, and I
Stop being a
apologize.
baby.
All right, now second off, I am not Occupy Newark. I am Occupy Wall Street.
Yeah.
You know what? Yes, when I came here, I did have the smell of alcohol in my breath. But God darn it, I have stress in my life. People drink sometimes because they can't cope with it. And I come here to mix with you people. This way, you can occupy my mind and drink my bad way. You bully? No. Listen, the problem with you is you try to bully people with
Breakouts.
Stay focused.
I am focused. And you know what it is? I do apologize, General Assembly. I did drink.
Accepted. Now let's move
I
on.
did drink. I did smell like alcohol. I did disrupt the GA. But I did it because I
You don't
felt like
punch
I was
people.
left out of this process, and nobody that
Yeah, people were punching people. I don't know.
Nobody called on you.
Mic check. So we're going to continue on with breakout group discussions. We'd like you to break into groups of 4 or 5, if that works for you. And we would suggest
that you talk to the other people in your group.
that you talk to the other people in your group
About accountability.
about accountability,
About what this community needs.
about what this community needs
In regards to accountability.
in regards to accountability,
And how we go forward.
and how we go forward
From here.
from here.
And what happened last
Mic check.
Mic check.
With respect to a lot of that,
With respect to a lot of that,
there's a lot of the feedback that I received that might be useful for you.
there's a lot of feedback that I received that might be useful for you.
A lot of people feel extremely excluded in our community.
A lot of people feel extremely excluded in our community.
The People of Color Caucus
People of Color Caucus
is working on a grievance council,
is working on a grievance council,
which would be far more equipped
which would be far more equipped
for dealing with our community issues.
with dealing with our community issues.
In this proposal that I wrote,
In this proposal that I wrote,
I wanted to
I wanted to
reflect the fact
reflect the fact
that it would be fantastic
that it would be fantastic
if the most marginalized groups
if the most marginalized groups
that are participating here
that are participating here
are
are
given
given
free space
free space
to write
to write
how a grievance council would work,
how a grievance council would work,
and bring it to the assembly.
and bring it to the assembly,
Then we might actually get
and we might actually get
a functioning body
a functioning body
that can address these serious problems,
that can address these serious problems,
which to me
which to me
are an incredibly beautiful opportunity that we have.
which are an incredible, beautiful opportunity that we have.
Probably the greatest asset that this assembly has.
It's probably the greatest assembly has.
That we're learning how to deal with all of this.
That we are learning how to deal with all of this.
Hey, so we're gonna break out now.
We're gonna break out now.
Since it's not so cold tonight,
Since it's not so cold tonight,
we're gonna take 15 minutes for discussion.
we're gonna take 15 minutes for discussion,
And we'd like it.
and we'd like it.
Someone from your group
if someone from your group could come back
and share with everybody.
and share with everybody
Once we're done.
Break out!
And while you're breaking out, I would just like to say that being a person of color doesn't give you a license to physically assault people or bully people, and you can't use that as an excuse to punch people in the face or threaten people.
Or call them faggots. Yeah, let's, you want to be in our group? Yeah, let's make group right here. So what do we think? Were any of you here last week when the disruptors came in? It's happened there. Well, see, let's separate Nan from like disruption as a topic, because that's what a lot of the comments were about. Was people thought Nan brought these 5 or 6 disruptors in from Newark to disrupt the GA here and beat people up, and it certainly looked that night. I wasn't here, but I was watching it on live stream. No, there's no proof, and I think Ted's acknowledged, because Ted actually had that theory. So I think the truth is that we don't know what happened, but people came in, they were drunk, they were calling all the white people faggots and 1%ers, and it was really a nasty situation. That's why I'm here tonight, to address this issue, right? And I think that Nan getting up at the beginning of an assembly and saying she's suing us doesn't really, that doesn't say much about her either. So you have to say, like, if people are going to threaten the General Assembly if we say what's on our mind, that they're going to sue us, that's bullshit, right? And we should call people on bullshit like that.
We don't know what it's about.
She's not filing. She says she's an NYU graduate student. She's 18 years old. We know there's nothing actually going to happen.
Anybody with eyeballs.
How do you stop people doing the bad stuff here?
Right. Well, they destroyed the GA. That group destroyed the GA that night, and it's going to keep happening.
But I just want to bring it back real quick. So, I mean, that group is one example of one way to filibuster a GA. There are many other ways as well. And really, like, I think what we need to be talking about is, like, what is our process of accountability, not what is our process of exclusion. But how do we keep people accountable of their own behaviors?
Right. That's right.
So that nobody's brought that proposal yet.
Right.
That's the one I'm here to support.
Yeah.
Not that one.
The first one has to be, right, if somebody touches you inappropriately or punches you or shoves you, that's a criminal matter. Get on your phone and call 911. Like,
well, I don't know.
Yeah. If criminal activity occurs in the GA, we can't pretend like we're a community that can deal with it, right? Well, yeah. Well, I'm a pacifist, so I'm not gonna fight somebody.
Well, I mean, I'm an anarchist, and I don't believe in calling the cops.
Well,
I mean, in a situation like that, I think that we have
people who aren't from the GA coming into the GA and punching people.
Show them tough love.
All right.
Male bonding that they
So.
and show them tough love.
So so it just breaks into like a free-for-all, right?
There's enough people practicing tough love where they're not going to hit each other.
Well, I mean, this is why we have de-escalation. We have de-escalation to come over and say, it looks like there's a problem.
We have common sense.
Let's hold you separately and talk about why this is happening.
Right, it didn't work that night. Ted was the only one. He worked for like an hour to hold the GA together.
Does anybody get, 10 fingers, 10 toes? I mean, I wasn't here that night, so I don't know. I just heard about it. And from what my understanding is Occupy Wall Street people that went out to Occupy New York. And that actually came like the Mark Lane, Occupy New York.
It would be the same as if someone off the street came in and started punching people. That's a criminal. It's a criminal activity.
I understand, but that happened in Scotty Park when we were staying in the park, and we dealt with that in the park, and it got taken care of by the park, and then we moved on. And everybody still had their fingers and toes, and nobody was hurt.
Well, and that happened because we were all in one place, and there was a de-escalation committee there immediately to hold those people separately and talk about their issues in a non-violent manner.
Yeah, but Maximus comes into the GA. He has a huge freak out 2 weeks ago. The police had to drag him off while we were debating the financial restrictions.
Dan called the police.
From 3 blocks away, he's still screaming, you know, bloody murder at us.
Let's not let fear get in the way
And
of progress.
let's not blame individuals for individual groups for what happened. Is what happened. Many
It only takes one person to stop the GA from functioning. And so what do you do?
Which is why we need to create a system of accountability.
But what is it? Yeah.
All right, here's a couple things, right? One, get the goddamn GA indoors. Indoors. There's something called a door. It's a barrier. And it has someone at a goddamn door. If someone's wrong, say, you're banned for this night. Come back tomorrow, try again. And continue this 3 times, you're out. And then don't come back again. But we have to get indoors. It's an outdoor space. Anybody can walk right in here and do what we want. I'm smelling some smoke pot. Right, so there you go. So light it up. We have one. No. Bullshit. We have a picture right over there. I've been using it. Why are we using it on a permanent basis?
Okay, so 2 ideas have come up that we can like make a little list, right? One is personal accountability and de-escalation, right? Was yours, right? He's talking about indoor GA. I just want to make a list of what we're saying.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. So we had de-escalation and accountability as 2 ideas. You have indoor GA as another idea. Any other ways of dealing? I think criminal matters should be handled criminally, but that's my addition. Yeah, it's another perspective. Right. Right. Suspend him.
Bend him over his face.
Suspend him.
Put him in timeout.
I de-escalate.
I heard it wasn't that big of a fight. I heard it was.
Well,
I heard it was kind of blown out of proportion.
I think that the decision has to be sort of, everyone individually has to make the decision if they think someone has done something to them criminally and how they respond to that. So maybe the GA shouldn't have an opinion about what constitutes a personal opinion about their personal space or their personal safety. If I feel I've been threatened, I should have the right to do what I think I need to do as a citizen, you know. Yeah. So, wait, we're actually, do you have your own group? We've been working on, you've been going group to group?
We already have our own breakout group.
Yeah, we have a breakout group already. Yeah. Am I on your list of who you're suing? I just want to know. Am I on the list, the big list? Right? Yeah. So we haven't heard from you guys.
Actually, I was talking to Ted about him trying to kill himself because I brought my people on here to bring down the facts. A lot of them been spreading online, and the way they've been marginalizing me from the beginning after this movement. So just when this movement started.
Why do you block all the time?
Because I can block her. Because I can block her. It's my individual right to block. It's my individual right. It's my individual right. It's my individual right to block. Okay.
Yeah, no, Nan, I think we all understand that there were some people saying things about you brought these guys over that night and all that. I don't think any of us believe that. But so what we're talking about is people who come in who really are going to disrupt the process, who are drunk, who are going to...
Let him talk. Shut up, respect.
Oh, you don't like that, do you?
We're just trying to figure out how we deal with disruptions in general. We weren't talking about you.
We're not talking about you. We're not talking about Ted. We're talking about systems of accountability.
Right. Like if somebody comes in here and punches me, I'm going to call the police. That's what I'm going to do, right? So other people have different ideas about de-escalation or punching them back or whatever it is. So that's what we wanted to talk about. It's not about you.
Nobody got punched out.
Okay, totally irrelevant to what we're talking about.
Right. We're talking hypothetically.
Can we just stick with our breakout group, please?
We're talking hypothetically.
What about the house? That's the reason why
Right.
I'm suing those individuals. That's why
Yeah.
those individuals I'm suing
Yeah.
because you ain't shit on me,
Right.
and they are false. That's gotta be the
She's
one
gotta have her own breakout. He asked her away.
He asked for a question.
Yeah. No, I actually think that, I mean, there's always a perspective that you can get from people that you totally disagree with. So
Life ever like a succubus.
I'm gonna bring
that I would agree with,
pacifier in your
actually.
mouth. I'm bringing a pacifier for you because you need
Okay,
one.
let's just stick to our breakout group. Respect the process.
No, I'm just
You guys go back to your breakout group. We'll go back to ours.
all right, so let's go back to what we had. So what we were talking about was, with disruptors in general, we want to de-escalate. We want to have personal accountability. What was your point again? I'm trying to remember everything.
Not letting others control your emotions.
What you? Moving the GA indoors. Right. I think criminal action should be handled criminally. Any other ideas for our list? How to deal with disruptors? He said, put them over your knee and spank them, which, in the right circumstances, would be fine with me. You know. If we had a safe word set up, you know, or something.
I think being indoors, like you said, is probably not a bad thing if you have a door.
All right, what else?
You have some sort of process. Maybe you can ask them, who the fuck are you, when they walk through the door.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, people have said everything, and I don't know what the truth is.
They're on the wall. Well, that's for the club. You know the bad people, they gotta go. Where? At 60 Wall Street? You kidding me? It's a public place.
Yeah, it's a public place.
That's why we need to get a real place. But you know what? If Wall Street is cops there, and if you can do this up, the cop will put them.
I would just say I think that specific proposal about putting these.
Someone's got to do it.
I don't think a proposal about putting the GA in a private space would pass. I don't think we'd ever get that.
And we have tents in Newark, so you could actually have the GA in Newark and do 2 states with 1 occupation. And bring like GA in Newark together. You set up a tent right there, and then you basically let people in. The ones that you don't agree with, let out. But I think meeting before and going over proposals is key to getting proposals passed. If you don't meet with people who you know are blocking all the time, who are causing this trouble, because the problem is when you start kicking people out, who do you say who is a pain in the ass and who is actually just questioning?
Here's the problem. World safety and anything can be moral. I don't. It's pure inclusion. I like racism.
Yeah, no.
It's open to interpretation.
Well, that's why we have modified consensus, so we can deal with the outliers like
And that's why
that.
nothing ever gets passed.
No. What I've learned is that if you want to get something passed through your working group, is bring your whole working group with you when you bring a proposal. You know. So, but I think the process works personally. Right. Yeah. See, that's what I mean. The whole oi crowd.
I am the active client.
I think they have. I think they have. Yeah.
All you guys do is sit here and talk.
Well, this is going to end the GA tonight.
This is just one of the substances we call liquor that you have to deal with.
Mic check!
Mic check! Mic check!
Gonna give you a 1-minute warning.
I'm going to give you a 1-minute warning from now.
Bring them to Newark. They're already there. You got a whole park to do.
What's up, you Victoria?
All right, well, I think I got what we were talking about. So. Any other things specifically that you would want brought up?
No, I think you got it. We talked about having it indoors.
Yeah.
Having
De-escalation, personal accountability, and personal decisions about what's criminal to you. Yeah. Because that's what I think. I think people, in this situation, you would let people get away with more than you would if it was just a stranger on the street. And maybe you shouldn't. Maybe that gives people the idea that it's okay to behave badly. Yeah. So maybe under personal accountability, you say, you know, I mean, I'm sort of an aspiring anarchist. So I'd like, you know, but I'm also pragmatic too.
Yeah. finally.
This is my sign.
Would you be comfortable
Angry
being that
pacifist.
person? I know, I've always liked that. Would you be comfortable being the person that comes back to the GA and talks
That's
about
all right?
it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not... like, I actually wanted to hear Nan's, position. No, I understand. She's been doing this for months. Yeah, I would just ban her because she's a nudge. Yeah. Please bring it back. We're going to continue on with the General Assembly.
Mic check.
Mic check.
So for these report backs,
We're not going to open it up
to any back and forth.
to any back and forth.
Just report back.
These are just the report backs
What discussed in your group.
from what was discussed in your group.
So one person
So one person
from each group,
from each group,
raise your hand.
raise your hand
And get on stack.
and get on stack. I don't think this is going to go very well.
Yo, Shay, what are you doing here, you fucking douchebag? Hey, come on. Get yourself together, buddy. These people are monsters, bro. We're gonna run around here, we're gonna grab them, pick them up, and put them in a fucking halal truck. Chop them up and feed them to the
Oh, that's sweet.
You like that?
No, I don't.
As long as it's gluten free, baby.
Look like a weirdo with
Yo, as long as it's gluten free.
I came here to get
Over it. For our safety, staying on the process, to be intoxicated. Richard. And de-escalation. We also with the process. But the process was a little too rigid. On the 2 minutes of stack. Which only would have taken to end this. The other thing that we feel, there needs to be more accountability.
And we need to have non-violent training.
And we need to have non-violent training, social interaction training for all of us.
Because if there was a war,
Because if there was a war
and no one showed up, that would be a lot better next time.
that would be a lot better next time. Before we go to the next person on stack, we're going to ask that these report backs are kept to 2 minutes per group. Mic check! Mic check! This is what our group came up with. One. If anyone's not following the statement of autonomy, they're not abiding by OWS principles. So they're not acting in the best interest of the movement. Two, if anything that's going to restrict it from our movement is a cause for concern and must be addressed. Three, the failure to exclude some individuals will cause the exclusion of many individuals. Fourth,
OWS is of many identities.
OWS